Hello, welcome back. In the last video we looked at adding some comments that I've underlined in red that demonstrate our selection of materials based on the properties of those materials. There's a whole 5 marks available on the marking grid for this. The next stage, or this video, is concerned with the social, moral, environmental and sustainability options. We need to show that throughout the designing process we are taking those things into consideration and they're influencing our design. Again, it can sound quite daunting at first, but there are some fairly simple things, some rules we can use to help us gain the marks for this. Let's start with the social. Social is to do with people, social, society, same root word. So we're looking for ways in which our design meets our customers' needs and considers the possible users. So we'll start off with this chessboard one here, and we will, because this is quite a distinctive style, and we will have a little label here, and we'll suggest that this one would be suitable for the elder generation who play chess. Let's just suggest, obviously, young people play chess as well, but let's say that this is suitable for our client or for a broad range of clients. So we're thinking about the people. If we move down to our feet here, there's a nice little thing we can use. Something that's nice with the social is always to think about not endangering a sector of society. So we can say about our feet that we will not make them too small so that they become swallowable by a small child, not too small, so can not be swallowed by a toddler. So we're showing an awareness of health and safety. We're considering who we're designing for as we go. We haven't mentioned this yet, but another nice thing to think about is members of society who have movement restricting difficulties. So often it's a nice thing to design something with a rubber grip for the elderly, or you might put some kind of ergonomic handle in for the elderly. So we haven't got it here, but we could label some kind of rubber coating round the side of one of our designs, perhaps around here, and then suggest that this gives us a high friction fit. Let's put that in. Possible rubber layer for this gives you red and green. High friction grip, suitable for elderly. That gives us social. Moral. Moral ones, again, to do with right and wrong, can be a bit confusing. But there's some easy ones to do with moral. PVA glue isn't, anywhere you use PVA you can stick a moral comment in. PVA glue, when it sets, is stronger than the wood itself. In my opinion, it's morally wrong to sell somebody a product that will fall apart. So you can have a label off of this one saying this makes the product durable and representing value for money. As it won't break. Another easy one with moral is to talk about not using endangered materials. So this is partly why I like to work with wood. There are lots of types of wood that aren't okay to use, that are endangered, are rare. But all the ones we've listed here, or basically all the European hardwoods, are sustainable and safe. So we can just start to label any of these woods and just put sustainable underneath it. Oak is certainly sustainable. So this is on sustainability. We're looking at moral, aren't we? So let's make a comment here about not using. We are not using rare tropical hardwoods. You get some beautiful purple heart and some lovely woods, but we're not using those, so we can just label that in there. And then sustainable and environmental. We've started that already. We've started listing some of the materials that are sustainable. Oak, beech, ash, they're all sustainable. And we could say for some of these little legs here that we could use offcuts from other projects. So if you say that you're using offcuts, then it's you're not using a new bit of wood, you're recycling. We are using LDP here, which is recyclable. That's enough for now. Now again, with the material properties, this can get lost in the page, and you don't want it to get lost. You want it to be obvious to the examiner that you are thinking this way. So what I do is I get my class to underline all your social, moral, environmental and sustainability things in green. And again, I reckon on 5 a page. That means that by the end of this all, they should have 15 or so comments. I've got more than that because I'm just demonstrating here. But 15 or so comments interspersed throughout 3 or 4 development pages. In my opinion, that gives the examiner plenty of evidence that you are designing with these things in mind. This one was red and green, wasn't it? Possible rubber layer for high friction fit. Suitable for the elderly. Sustainable materials. Sustainable materials. If you like, in the notes section of this video down below, I will put a link to a couple of pages I've created that just again give you some of the topics you can consider for social, moral, environmental and sustainability.